Hello and welcome to the Daily Fantasy 5 for this lovely Thursday, August 15th. This is episode 175, and we are bringing you the 5 things you need to know every day in the world of fantasy sports. My name is Scott Grierson, and I'm your host. And today we are continuing the NFL Countdown Extravaganza. We are 21 days away from the start of the NFL season when the Packers will be taking on the Chicago Bears. All right, that's just 3 weeks away. For now, we're going to be bringing you the news. We've got a little bit of baseball, some football, and then, like I said, we are going to continue the countdown. And today we are previewing the Washington Redskins. So let's get to all of that after a word from our sponsor, www.mathradio.com, where you can pick up an online math course for as little as $9.99 to help your kids ages 7 through 17 get prepared to be an outstanding student in math class. This will then better grades, score higher on exams, and you'll even see your kids get into college if they take the SAT math prep course. Go to mathradio.com today for more information. All right, so let's get to the news. We'll start off with a little bit of baseball news. Philadelphia Phillies starting pitcher Jake Arrieta is going to be out for the year. He wasn't doing that well anyway. 4.64 ERA, only 110 strikeouts in 135 innings. So he's sitting at about 7 strikeouts per 9 innings. So not a lot of value with Jake Arrieta. Shouldn't cost fantasy owners too much. In football, we got a couple quick notes before we get to the Washington Redskins preview. Odell Beckham Jr. suffered a minor hip injury. I don't know. He sat out part of the joint practice yesterday with the Colts. I'm not going to move him down at all right now until I get, something more definitive that he's actually going to be missing, weeks, right? Then I'll worry about it. If he's at all in jeopardy of missing week 1, then I will start to kind of, worry about it. But I think baked into Odell Beckham's ranking is this injury risk where he tends to miss games every year. So, if Odell Beckham was reliable, he would be a top 2, top 3 wide receiver, but he's not, so he's not. Moving on, Kenyon Drake has been sidelined with a foot injury. They're hopeful he will be back for week 1. He is currently in a walking boot. So I somehow, Ballage is the backup. Apparently he's not very good, but even before this injury that Miami was thinking about starting him, I forget his first name, but I think the last name starts with a B. I think it's Ballage. So I'm going to have to look at my running back rankings. He's definitely going to move up. Perhaps we'll talk about that a bit more tomorrow. But yeah, with all these running back injuries, we got people moving up and down the board, and then we still got the holdouts going on, all that good stuff. There was a quick note that people expect Ezekiel Elliott to sign between the end of the preseason and the NFL season. But that's 2 weeks away. I mean, it's just that's what they think. It's not even like, Ezekiel said that's what he was going to do. So who knows still on that front. It all scares me a little bit. But I think Ezekiel Elliott will be back. I'm not so sure about the San Diego situation. So let's move on to another running back injury. My boy Harris, the backup rookie in New England, suffered a minor wrist injury. But for him, it's not so minor because for him to get the playing time, to be a starter, to take over that job, he needed to be reliable and do everything Belichick wants. If he's not on the field, he cannot do that. So this injury has me worried. It's basically why he sat out the last preseason game. If I'm hearing reports all weekend, or I guess the week's almost over, but for the rest of the week that he's not playing, I'm certainly going to scale back my Harris love. I've been drafting him like every single time in best ball because I have him ranked about 20 spots higher than he usually goes. I think he's like 126 in best ball, and I'm usually taking him right around pick 100, something like that, because I don't know. I think he has great value. Any of those New England running backs can go off any week. And with best ball, you don't need to know which week they're going to go off, just that they're going to go off 4 or 5 times. So I still think he has that value, but I'd like to see him earning the trust of Bill Belichick in training camp, which you can't do if you're not playing. So that's it for the news. Let's go ahead and talk about the Washington Redskins as we continue our NFL Countdown Extravaganza. Again, NFL kicks off 3 weeks from today on a Thursday, September 5th. Yours truly will be in Belgrade, Serbia with my wife's family, but I'll find a way to watch the game and keep bringing you shows while I'm over in Europe. The Redskins, let's talk about them. So number one question I have is, why should you be excited about the Redskins? Well, let's talk about the fact that they kind of outperform expectations every single year. So the Redskins last year had a terrible injury history the last few years. In 2017, they had the most injuries in football. In 2018, they ranked as the 24th least healthy team. So Somehow they keep outperforming these expectations. The last 2 years, they've won 7 games each year, and I don't think anybody really expected it to happen. So, if you are saying, well, why should I be interested? Why do I want to watch the Redskins? Well, they just might win more games than you expect. Question number 2: is there any hope at quarterback? Well, this is maybe a reason not to be that interested in the Redskins. The quarterback room is crowded, and it's pretty terrible. At some point, I would assume Dwayne Haskins will be the quarterback because, I mean, there's not much in front of him. You've got Case Keenum, Colt McCoy. The last rumor I heard was that Colt McCoy was going to be starting the season. Who knows if that's going to hold up as the preseason goes on. I think the only way for Gruden and his staff to keep their job is if they turn Case Keenum into a quarterback who looks like he's going to be the quarterback for the future. Because I don't see any path for this team making the playoffs no matter which quarterback is under the helm. So I think their only hope is to see improvement from week to week and, more hope in Dwayne Haskins. So I would guess that Haskins is going to be your starter for quarterback purposes. Question number 3, can the defense be a difference maker? I think the answer is simply no. Let's see, the defense here. They ranked 20th last season. They lost Preston Smith, added Landon Collins. I do like Martez Sweat. I have not heard anything about his injury status. I think he had the heart issue. If they have better health, they'd be over day 15. I don't see any reason they couldn't do that. But could they jump from the 20th ranked defense on DVOA up to, say 5, 6, 7, where it can really make a difference? No, I don't think that's happening. So I don't know how this team's going to win 7 games again this year, but they probably will. Anyway, let's talk about fantasy very, very briefly. There is no one you should be starting at quarterback. I guess if you want to take Dwayne Haskins as your third quarterback in a 2 quarterback league, that might be fine. I would guess he's going to be the starter. He doesn't rush the ball. Even though he's young, he's a rookie. He's more like a statue back there. So I would just be aware that, you're probably not getting great numbers out of Dwayne Haskins. The running back group, like I said, is crowded. You got the young guys and Darius Guice, Bryce Love. You still have Adrian Peterson on this team. There's another running back that I'm forgetting. Starts with H, maybe Henderson or Hopkins or something like that. But there's a lot of guys on this running backs group. The guy I like is Darius Guice. He's starting to go down the rankings in ADP just because he can't stay healthy. He wasn't healthy all of last year. He was one of my favorite rookies coming out of that class. I had him rated number 2 behind Barkley. So love Darius Guice, but I just don't see a path for him to get on the field. So it's hard to draft him. I think in best balls, he's going 85th. I think in ESPN, he's much lower than that. But yeah, it's hard to draft him at that point in the draft because, who knows with the injury and the crowded backfield. Wide receiver, I'm just stay away. They've got no quarterback to throw anybody the ball. I would not be drafting any Washington Redskins wide receivers at all. That's my fantasy advice there. Let's talk about Vegas over-unders. So DVOA last year was 28th on offense. That's pretty bad. And 20th on defense, also bottom half. Somehow they won 7 games the last 2 years. I mentioned that earlier. I don't know how that happened. So the over-under is 6.5 this year. When I did my projection, I had them win 4 games. Now, would I ever in a million years bet the Washington Redskins to finish under 6.5? I would not. Every year, they find a way to be mediocre, and they're just good enough to ruin their draft chances of actually drafting a good quarterback. So I would expect them to, again, this year be at 6 or 7 wins, despite my projection of 4 wins for this team. So I'm definitely not betting the Redskins under. Certainly would never bet the over. Not a chance. So I'm just going to stay away from this Washington Redskins team from a fantasy perspective and from a Las Vegas standpoint as well. So that's it for the show today. Hope you enjoyed the Daily Fantasy 5 on this beautiful Thursday. There's no thunderstorm today. The dentist went fine. Thank you very much. The smile should be improving by the day. Not even too numb this morning. Okay. Please, if you're listening or watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. If you're listening to the podcast, we'd love a 5-star rating and a review. And if you check out our sponsor, www.mathradio.com, that would be fantastic. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.